by a flying turd. And 5-year-olds love that fucking story. It's hilarious. You know, they laugh. So I was like, I'm telling the poop wagon story. I was like, but you got to come up with something else. So, in the vein of trying to keep this like very, very young kids, 5, 6 year kids, we're trying to keep it just very kind, and you know, we're trying to keep them in the tent. There's no doubt about that. But we're also trying to make it just a little spooky. I mean, just we're talking Boy Scout level fun here. Not even that,
right? Even not even that.
Way tone
right?
Fucking down.
This is you know, Teletubbies.
The Teletubbies of ghost stories,
almost.
So I'll let you take it from there because you told the story. So go ahead.
Right. So, and I was like, okay, I got to come up with a story that's going to get these kids to stay in the tent. That's not going to be,
which was impossible at that time because they wouldn't listen to shit.
Like,
right.
Awful. Right. So finally I came up with this. Okay, what are the kids like? What are they motivated with? Candy. Yep. All right, I got something to work with here. All right, so that was basically what I was trying to. How can I use candy to get them to stay in the tents?
And we brought, for some reason,
a
shit ton of candy, and they were eating it and throwing their fucking wrappers all over the ground, everywhere, all the camera. And we're like, you guys, you have to clean up after yourselves. Pick this shit up. And they were just like, you know, I don't know why they get, probably because we didn't want to deal with their shit, and we just kept giving them candy just to fuck off. It was like Halloween, as far as they were concerned. And they just kept throwing it everywhere.
Well, sure.
So you built on that, but go ahead.
So I came up with this character named Dandy McCandy, and Dandy McCandy was a young man who had tragically years ago wandered off from his family at the campsite, right, and got lost in the woods. His family looked for days and days to find him, right? Never had any luck.
He wandered too far away. He wandered too far away from the campsite. He should have never left.
He had gone too
left
far
the campground,
away,
but he decided to go for a walk far, far away.
Right,
and they lost him. Yeah,
he was gone. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
They eventually just had to
makes
leave,
sense,
right? And he was, and he never could find them, right? So, what was he left to do? Well, you know, he had to live somehow. So he roamed the woods looking for campsites. And his favorite thing in the world to eat was candy. And Dandy McCandy knew that if there was a campsite with kids, there was going to be candy.
Especially if there were wrappers all over the ground that children left there and didn't pick up.
Right. And if he could hear a kid in your campsite at night, he knew to come and find your candy and to eat your candy.
You had to be quiet.
So you had to be quiet and stay in your tent. So Dandy McCandy would not know where you were, or else he would come and eat all.
And this, literally, okay, I know what everybody who's listening is thinking. They're like, and that's it. That's fucking it. The worst thing that this ghost was going to do, which wasn't even a ghost. It was just a kid. He wasn't dead. He wasn't dead. Eat your fucking, if you didn't shut the fuck up and stay in your tent, he was going to eat your candy. I mean, he was going to come up and he was going to eat your candy because you left wrappers everywhere and you couldn't shut the fuck up or stay in your tent. Both of our kids exploded crying in terror.
This was just like
in terror.
Trauma.
he's gonna
Inducing
come and
story.
get us. And we're like, no, he's not gonna get you. He's just gonna get the candy.
You don't get your candy. He doesn't care about you.
And they're just fucking crying. I mean, these poor coddled children are just going ape shit over the fact that and it's just like somebody's just going to come to your campsite and invade your space. That was the worst thing. It was like the worst ghost story they could have ever heard in their life, was that somebody was coming that they didn't know and was going to take something of theirs. And it was their candy. And it's like, all you have to do is just go in there and be quiet and not throw your wrappers all over the ground. And I mean, the funniest fucking thing about it, I think, is because of the kids' visceral, horrid reaction to the story. Both of our wives looked to us and they were just like, you have scared the shit out of these children. What is wrong with you? How dare you? And I looked at it, I was like, my God, this couldn't be a more or less innocuous.
I don't know how I could have tamed down a ghost story and still had it be a campsite
and they're the ones who pushed
story.
us to tell a ghost story. And all we said is just like a kid who's going to eat your candy. And they were freaked the fuck out. And both our wives were like, way to go. Good job. Now they're going to be up all night, terrified. Fucking, how did you come up with that nightmare of a scenario? We're like, nightmare? It's like, it's just a kid who just eats candy. It's not, oh my God. But I was just over the top fucking defending it. And then, and my oldest decided to draw, she's a great artist, decided to draw this picture. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. This toothless kid rendering with a lollipop stuck to its face and candy all in its hair and everything else. And it was a wanted poster for Dandy McCandy, and posted it in the campsite. And the children hated it. And it just turned into this nightmare scenario. It was like, my God, there couldn't have been a less, more of a pussy of a monster than Danny McCandy ever. So,
right.
She hung up this poster, and the kids hated it and cried every time they saw it. And we got blamed, basically, is what it turns out to be, for how big of a pussies our children were to not be able to handle not even a ghost, but a candy thief. A candy thief amongst us in the woods was the epitome of sheer terror as far as they were concerned.
Oh, my favorite part, though, was like the next day, just watching them. And they were just
walking around the campsite
all day. It was like Dandy McCandy detectives, like
a gum wrapper. He's been here. You see, Grace? Yep. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. It's a Kit Kat. Yeah, it's one you threw on the fucking ground last night. Yep.
He's been here.
But I just still think the funniest part of it is just both of our wives are just like, way to go, assholes. Now the kids are up all night. It's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, we couldn't.
Well,
right. I could tell you were trying so hard to make this just completely innocuous and so harmless. But our kids were such punks that they couldn't handle it whatsoever. So, but you can get